Now, our final speaker is going to probably got the biggest challenge of all, because she is responsible for, she's the head of decarbonization at Thyssenkrupp Steel. Now, if any of you have ever been into a blast furnace and into the bowels of a big steel manufacturer, you will know what an enormous consumer of energy it is. And I do think that coal is an essential part of that process too, or isn't it? Let's find out more about the journey that Thyssenkrupp Steel is on. Let's welcome Marie Jaroni, SVP, Head of Decarbonization at Thyssenkrupp Steel. Marie.
So, good morning. My name is Marie Jaroni. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me to this beautiful Trondheim. Very snowy. I forgot my hat, but it's a very nice city. Thank you very much. As you introduced me, I'm the head of decarbonization, or senior vice president for decarbonization at Thyssenkrupp Steel. What does it mean? I always tell my team that means that we are responsible for the future of Thyssenkrupp Steel, and we can really do something for the company, but also for the climate. And I will tell you a little bit more about this in my presentation. Why steel? Steel is an essential part in our lives. We consume around, it's in Germany, but it's not so different in other European countries. We consume about 420 kilograms of steel each year, every one of us. In a car, just to have a comparison, in a car it's about 1 ton of steel. So we consume around half a car of steel every year, every one of us. And why is steel so important for the green transformation? If we see, these are the German numbers, but just to have a feeling for it. In Germany, we emit about 900 tons of, million tons of CO2 every year. 22% of it, so 200 million tons, is emitted by the industry. And 30% of this, so 60 million tons, by steel industry, and only from Thyssenkrupp, of our company, it's 20 million tons. 2.5% of the German CO2 emissions are emitted on one site. 4 blast furnaces, one side, Duisburg in Germany, 2.5% of the German emissions. I looked up this morning the CO2 emissions of Norway. It's 40 million tons. So half of the CO2 emissions of Norway are emitted in our plant. Of course, these are huge numbers, but it's also a huge chance. It's a huge chance for us as a company, but also to really make a difference in the transformation to be climate neutral in the future. How do we do this? We change our process how to produce iron. So today we reduce iron with coal in blast furnaces. So iron together with oxygen is iron ore, oxygen with carbon, CO2 is emitting. And in the future, so tomorrow, more or less, we will use a direct reduction plant as a new, replace the blast furnace to a direct reduction plant, and then reduce the iron ore with hydrogen. A lot of hydrogen, of course, we need a lot of hydrogen, but in the end, it's a clean process. No CO2 emissions will be emitted to the air. So hydrogen, as you know, will be a rare good in the future or for the next 10 to 15 years. Why should we use it in steel? First of all, we can really avoid CO2 with using hydrogen, and we have a good course of change. If we use 1 ton of hydrogen in our new process, in our direct reduction plant, we replace 28 tons of CO2. This is one of the best course of change we see. right now. So as long as it's a rare good, it's also from a climate perspective a good idea to bring it to the steel plant and not use it, I don't know, use this in heating of houses or transportation or something like that. And we will actually need a lot of green energy. Thyssenkrupp Steel will be the single point of hydrogen usage we need the most hydrogen in Europe at this single plant. In numbers, that means in 2030, we will need around 8.5 terawatt hours just of energy for hydrogen. And to have this amount of hydrogen, we need 12.1 terawatt hours of electricity, green electricity. And additionally, we need for melting of the direct reduced iron, we need 7.1 terawatt hours. So in total, in 2030, we need 20 terawatt hours of green electricity. To do a comparison again, Hamburg, that's a sign on the side. Hamburg, the city of Hamburg, today needs 11 terawatt hours of energy. So it's double of Hamburg that we need in 2030. And as you can see on our journey, we will need a lot of more. So it's quite a challenge to really change this and to get all the energy to Duisburg. So, of course, energy will be the most important factor in our cost in the future. We will have in our direct reduction iron, we will have 40% just of energy cost. This will change our business model a lot. And of course, that's why it's so important to have good partners on board, to have reliable partners on board. We have talked a lot today about reliable partners, and in Germany we saw, of course, Norway supported us a lot in the last year, and so that's why we talk, or why I'm here, because we really think that European partners can be a very important factor for us in the future, and I'm glad to be here and to talk to you, not now to talk like this, but also to have some very interesting conversations with all of you. And we did one important thing to be a little bit optimistic in the end of my small speech. We already announced 2 or 3 weeks ago the biggest industrial decarbonization project worldwide, and we contracted SMS CIMAC to help us to build the first plant. We have a final investment decision for more than 2 billion euros, and we start really to work on it. We start to build it. It's not PowerPoint anymore. Now it's real life, and we hope to work together to go in the future, in a green future together. And I'm glad to be here. Thank you very much.